All right, before we move on, I do want to roll back to Monday when the Jazz beat the Clippers in what was a pretty chippy game. Rudy Gobert hit J.J. Redick in the face with a forearm early in the fourth. He got teed up. Said it was an accident. You can judge for yourself. Paul shoved Rudy Gobert in the back, and things got even more heated. Now, why are we talking about this now? Well, CP3 was asked yesterday about what it is now looking like a first-round playoff series with Utah and seeing Gobert again. Chris said, quote, "I'm not worried about him. He can play, but he just talks a lot," which is, coming from Chris. Scottie, what do you like about the physicality we're seeing with these teams, especially
I like that they're ramping it up. The playoffs is getting here. I like a little animosity out on the basketball court, but I think in that situation, Chris Paul picked the wrong fight. I think you got to go to one of your bigs, grab him in the collar, and say, "Hey, go at him."
Really?
And that's how you do it.
How would how would that work?
Shouldn't the bigs go do it on their own?
I would have it would work. Dennis Rodman would have taken care of that without even saying a word to him.
Yeah.
Some guys just know how to protect their teammates. And in this situation, Chris Paul is protecting his teammates, but I would have loved to have seen a big guy go at him.
That's what they're there for, right? Especially since he's a big also, But if I'm the Jazz, I'm not flustered by this at all. Someone was saying, are you surprised that a little guard would pick on a big and, he didn't really retaliate? I said, no, because I don't care whether he intimidates him in a fight. I care whether he intimidates him when it comes to the hole.
That's right.
When you pull up for a jumper instead of going all the way to the rim for a layup, that's what Rudy Gobert is there for. As fans, we like seeing teams that don't like each other because we know that's going to get the highest competition out of watching the basketball game.
I can't remember a team that had some interesting series against Utah. Can't really. Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, I have. But never fight. Our series was real clean. It was
no
this battle between
it was just Karl Malone and Dennis. That's the only two dirty ones.
Karl Malone and Dennis never fought.
Totally fine. I will say on Monday night, it was important for Utah to get that win at home. They had lost a bunch in a row, the Clippers at home. We are, as you just saw with the standings, looking at probably a 4-5 matchup there. We don't know who's going to end up with home court, but should be a good one. Now let's talk about Wizards, who are going to be the 3 seed in the East. At least right now, they're still gunning for that number 2. John Wall named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and he got all warm and fuzzy. He said, quote, "I feel like Brad should have been Player of the Week with me." Oh, so nice. Mark Spears of The Undefeated has a new Q&A out with Wall today, and he gave more context to his relationship with Bradley Beal. On Brad getting that big contract this summer, he said, quote, "Everybody said I tried to play him or something. I was watching his money. I was mad. That wasn't it. All I said was, let him be healthy. Let him earn his money." And on his must-discuss relationship with Bradley Beal overall, John Wall told Mark Spears, quote, "It never was bad, but now we spend more time together off the court. We're just building a bond. We always joke, we have fun, we play cards on the plane with each other. All that stuff equaled up to us making a better bond. We never dislike each other. There are just times on the court where you're going to dislike a player. You want the ball, and they want the ball." So, very honest with Mark Spears. I like that. I guess the question for Washington fans, guys, is do you trust this sort of newfound brotherhood that John is talking about?
I do. I see these two players. They've been together. They've matured together, and they've grown together. And now you're seeing them man up to their situation. They want to win in Washington. They want to be successful. They want to play together. And they're just manning up to their relationship now.
It's the old saying, winning is the best deodorant of all. They're winning. They love each other, everything.
Well, that's why the question on the bottom is it going to last?
Well, is the winning going to last? That's the question then. Is the winning going to last? It's not about whether they're going to love each other. That's going to last as long as the winning does.
Okay, so you think it's all related?
I think that you naturally feel better about people when we're all playing well and we're all winning. Yeah, as soon as adversity hits, that's when that tests the relationship. By the way, I do appreciate that he said, they asked him about the player of the week, and instead of saying, "No, Brad should have won it," he said, "Brad should have won it with me." Which is kind of like, instead of he tried to do the Adele and break off the thing, but instead it came across like Casey Affleck, like, but this is still mine.
Come on, John hasn't won that many. He's not LeBron here, so he's keeping that.
He's on my ballot.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we got to talk about Melo, too, because he scored 15 points in the fourth. He led the Knicks to a comeback win.
Yes.
But let's be honest.
Yes.
All we really care about is the ensemble he rocked after the game. Little mink action. Internet gave him a platinum package meme treatment. What do you guys think? What's your fave here?
Oh, Cameron, yes.
Wow.
Dipset. You know what's funny? The coat reminds me of Joffrey Jafar's coat from Coming to America. Like like a lion's mane on that. Mm-hmm. Look, here's the thing. Do you know what that outfit says to me? He said, Phil, you can try and change this weather and give me a blizzard. I'm not leaving New York. You're going to have to take me.
I'm with the producers. I think this was a cry for
No.
I think it's just a fashion statement.
Are you down? Okay.
Again,
so,
you're right. I mean, he's not leaving.
He's not leaving. He's like, look, I'm here.
Give me the player fashion critique here. Is this a yay or nay on Mellow Fashion?
I'll give him a yay on that. You know, with the blizzard in New York this week, hey.
Yeah, you're into that?
You gotta dress warm, Rachel.
Remember when Dwayne Wade had the crazy fur Wookiee look or what?
See, that's the snozberries taste like snozberries.
That one's not that bad.
That one's all right. That's just the hat. This right here, gangster, 20s gangster, Harlem Nights. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what this is.
I don't know. It's kind of cute.
Wow.
It's a cute dog.
What is this? What is that? Where'd y'all find that one? I've never seen that one before.
Clearly, it's time for us to take a break, but coming up next.
Westbrook in that game had his 32nd triple-double. Listen to the crowd chanting MVP. Remember, we are on the road now. We're a couple thousand miles away from Oklahoma City, and a rousing chant here in the first minute and a half of MVP for Westbrook.
Well, what he's done has been felt all the way around the league.
Shout out to the announce team for reminding everyone what part of the country they're in. You just heard Nets fans indeed chanting MVP at Russell Westbrook in the first 2 minutes of last night's game. Did not take long. Scottie, do you have any problem with the road love
Not
there?
Not at all. That's respect. You know, those fans want something to cheer for. To be honest with you, that's respect. Russell Westbrook is having a phenomenal season. He's doing something that we haven't seen in basketball in the last 50 years. So, just out of respect, the fans know that they're not going to be watching basketball in another 30 days or so. So, hey, let's give it all to Russ.
Some people might argue they're not watching basketball right now. No, look, respect is one thing. We talk about some of the great arenas, Oracle, Madison Square Garden, where the crowd knows and appreciates greatness and applaud. Chanting MVP though, show a little bit of just
right at the beginning.
Let him have a triple double.
I was more okay with this. He grabbed a rebound to secure the 33rd triple double of the season, and they gave him a cheer, and I was okay with that.
That's all right, but to start, there it is, right there. So when they start cheering here and acknowledging, that's cool.
Right.
The guy just got on the floor, Scottie. He automatically just as if he's not going to play the rest of the game.
You're talking to a man that season you guys won 72. That was crazy. I remember that every arena y'all walked into, the visiting fan, it was just basically there for you.
It was, and that's just respect from the fans. They appreciate good basketball, and there again, the fans in Brooklyn really appreciate the way that West has played this season, and it was a little disrespect to the home team.
Yeah, how do they feel? They're chanting.
Well, maybe they'll get motivated.
But the home team has disrespected their fans by not being in the postseason.
There we go. See? And that, my friends, is our ending note. I want to move on to the Warriors, who looked shaky against Philadelphia for most of last night until, it counted. Golden State trailing by as many as 16, and then Draymond Green got angry. He played just exceptional defense, sparked a fourth quarter rally. Steph finally seemed to find a shot at the end there, too. He finished with 29 points on his 29th birthday. So, Scottie, do you feel like Warriors fans should feel more encouraged by the end of the game? This team has kind of found its footing again without Durant? Or should they be more worried about the fact that for 3 quarters they didn't look so good against the 76ers team that had no Embiid?
Well, I think they're a little bit more worried about the 3 quarters that they didn't play well. We're used to watching the Golden State team that puts down 4 great quarters, and now that they're going 3 quarters. But really, it comes down to Kevin Durant. That's what they're really worried about, and that's what they're going to be looking over their shoulders. The next few weeks is whether KD will be there for them come postseason.
Yeah, for me, I think there's a bigger story. The bigger story is Steph Curry doesn't look right. Last night at the end, he did, but we're talking about, I want to say 28 out of his last 35 wide open three-pointers he's missed. So that's 7 of 35. That's 20% shooting on wide open three-pointers. If we were talking about Iman Shumpert like that, we would say, hey, man, you got to make those shots. Those are the wide open ones. Right. Let alone the best shooter in the NBA. So Durant being out makes this an issue. If Durant wasn't out, we'd be like, Steph's not there yet, but it's okay because Durant's here. But him being out, now it's a concern. He's got to get on track because ultimately they're going to win. I'm not saying he has to be last year MVP level, but he can't be missing open threes. That's
Well,
that's for sure.
And it's interesting to see, is this going to be a spark plug to now they're just going to be right for their next few games because they have a nice little homestand here? Or are we going to see more? They're not all going to be the Sixers without Embiid. So, there are going to be some teams coming in here that are going to give them a rougher time. And as we're going to talk about here, seeding is an issue. They have lost a tiebreaker to the Spurs. They still have one more game against the Spurs to go. And we have to get to the fact that LaMarcus Aldridge, news came this morning, he has been cleared to resume all basketball-related activities. You may remember Aldridge initially declared out indefinitely with a minor heart condition. He missed 2 games, but now he is back. Greg Popovich said this morning he's going to be available tonight against the Blazers. No restrictions. So we're talking about jostling for seeding,
right.
1 and the 2. These guys are neck and neck down the stretch here. And obviously, does the Spurs now, if they have Aldridge back, is this enough to beat the Warriors head-to-head?
It is. If Durant's not there, if Steph Curry's in his feelings, then yes, it is. I mean, that's just the truth. We always knew that this was a high-caliber team. They have an MVP candidate in Kawhi Leonard. They've got, obviously, the best coach in basketball. So all you need is that door open. And that door is open with Durant not playing and Curry not playing well.
And it is open because Durant is going to be a little rusty coming back. So they got to get that chemistry back. And again, Steph has to get back to their MVP level before they can consider themselves the top team in the West.
On any of your teams, how worried were you about seeding? Because to us on the outside, it just feels like, oh my God, they got to get that number 1. It's going to make such a difference who they end up playing for those first 2 rounds.
I didn't feel it was important in my last 3 championships, but the first 3 championships, definitely I felt that the home court advantage was important. But,
That's an amazing sentence.
I don't mean to put all those numbers out there, but realistically, my first couple championships, we needed home court advantage just for confidence.
Really?
But, this team has already won a championship, so do they really need it? Maybe not, but after going through what happened to them last season, they need home court advantage.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I think the Spurs have learned their lesson on home court advantage, too, after what's happened with them the last couple years. So we'll see. My first 3 championships, it's amazing. Our distant replay today comes from the year 2001 and features the one and only Nick Van Exel. That's all they've told us, though, so we are going to be as surprised as you. Take a look.
This evening. Last second shot.
I've seen it. It's a great play. It's a great play.
360 jumper.
He was like a trick shot master.
Yeah.
He was the original Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, but keeping your balance and your eye line on where the basket is.
Well, his eyes are really wide apart.